In June of 2008, retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Winston Cosbert served as the Deputy Crime Chief. Mr. Cosbert testified before a commission probing the death of the 8 miners killed at Lindo Creek of his involvement in the investigation into the Lindo Creek massacre.
During that period of time when you were performing the role of Deputy Crime Chief, you had cause to deal with the Lindo Creek file?
Yes, sir.
Can you state to this inquiry what was your involvement then with the file?
I was given the file by Crime Chief, who was Mr. Silal Prasad, and give me some instructions.
Can you say what were those instructions that you were given?
I was instructed to make contact with the relative of the Lindo Creek, the relative of those persons who have died at the Lindo Creek.
Cosbert had been the Deputy Crime Chief for about 3 years. He said after instructions from his immediate superior, Silal Prasad, he proceeded to have the remains of the miners buried. Mortician of the Likens funeral parlor had already testified that the remains had been kept at Liken for about 4 years.
Well, I didn't personally make contact. Those instructions was given to, I think, Reed, Assistant Superintendent Reed, and Inspector Singh, who was a sergeant of police at the time.
So as a result of the instructions that you would have caused basically to be delegated to those ranks, can you say what, if anything, happened with the remains?
Those remains were buried on the, I think, the 23rd or the 22nd. Mr. Singh would have been the person who would have been present at the burial of those remains.
Are you aware from your recollection whether any relatives of the deceased miners would have attended that burial?
2 persons came forward, a male and a female, came forward, and they were present during the burial.
Even though Mr. Cosbert maintained throughout his testimony that he was not part of the investigation as Deputy Crime Chief, he was further pressed by the Commission's chairman as to whether anything in the Lindo Creek file had attracted his attention.
Well, from what you would have seen from that file given to you about the burial of the persons who had died, was there anything that told you or showed you what had happened to those persons apart from having died?
As I mentioned, sir, I did not review those statements. I didn't read the investigation. The instructions that was given to me is to have the relatives notified that the burial would have been taking place. I did not review the investigation. I didn't read the file.
But as Deputy Crime Chief, surely it would have occurred to you that you were dealing with a criminal matter. How else would
I was dealing with the death of persons as to how they would have met their demise. I would not have gone into that.
Did you deal with any other matters other than criminal matters?
I would have dealt
Deputy Crime Chief.
I would have dealt with numerous matters.
Apart from criminal matters, as Deputy Crime Chief,
I would have dealt with numerous matters.
Matters that had nothing to do with criminal matters, Mr. Cosbert, as Deputy Crime Chief.
Yeah.
Cosbert then conceded that indeed the miners had died under suspicious circumstances.
But did you consider the matter you are dealing with about these remains and the instructions about burial having any connection with a crime?
If you want my opinion, I would say the people met their demise under suspicious circumstances. So that's but.
That's the impression you got from dealing with the matter.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.